What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel. Now before we get into today's video, we are now officially on the road to 500 subs. There's no words to describe it except holy shit, it's only gonna get crazier from here, but as I have said in previous videos, if this channel gets to 500 subs, I will open up this Korean LOB booster box in its entirety on the channel that I got from my partners over at Collector Store, so be sure to check them out. Link and address will be in the description below. By checking them out, not only does it support them, it also supports the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it, on the hopes to potentially pull a Blue Eyes White Dragon, a Dark Magician, a Red Eyes Black Dragon, a piece of Exodia, Pot of Greed, Monster Reborn. The possibilities are out there. However, if this channel gets to 1,000 subs, I will open up this first edition Toon Chaos box in its entirety on the channel that I also got from my partners at Collector Store, on the hopes to potentially pull my second ever Collector's Rare. Because it wouldn't be the first time that I pulled a Collector's Rare, because I also pulled this. A Collector's Rare Beat Cop from the Underworld. Let me try and show it off. Actually, let me take it out of the sleeve. Take it out of the sleeve. There we go. Look at that, you guys. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm planning to get this graded at some point. I don't really know when though, but I am gonna be getting it graded. So, so with that being said, you guys, if you guys want to see those boxes get opened, maybe you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue. Maybe you guys want more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. Deck profiles, card discussions, WWE topic videos, or maybe, just maybe, you guys want some premium live event predictions and results. Well, if you guys want all of that and more, my channel is the place to be. So if you guys are new to the channel, and I know that a lot of you guys are, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And I want you guys to post in the comments below answering the question of the day, which is this: what pendulum archetype do you guys want to see get new support in the future? Let me know down in the comments below. And as far as today's video goes, oh well. Anyway, for today's video, I am going to be talking about another brand new pendulum archetype, and this one is going to be a bit of an interesting one. It is known as the Valmonica archetype. Now, this is actually a bit of sort of like a waifu archetype, and it looks like it's based off of judging by the first two monsters that I'm looking at right here, and it literally looks like that it's based off of the anime Re:Zero, Starting Life in Another World, in which, if you guys haven't seen that anime, I recommend you guys watch it, because we're getting a third season, and honestly that anime is just incredible, absolutely incredible. Can't wait for season 3. And what I mean by that is the first monster is based off of Rom, who has pink hair, and then the other monster reminds me of Rem as well, because of the backgrounds of the art. But honestly, I'm actually kind of curious about this archetype, so let's not waste any time and let's get into it. So first up, we have Angelo Valmonica, which is a 4-star dark fairy pendulum with a pendulum scale of 3, as well as with 1200 attack, 2100 defense, and both and it has 2 pendulum effects with 2 monster effects, which are all once per turn. The first pendulum effect reads: while you have a feed monster card in your other pendulum zone, each time you gain life points, place 1 resonance counter on this card. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can link summon 1 Valmonica monster after this effect resolves. So honestly, that's actually kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool. Being able to have a sort of like an IP Masquerena effect just right off the bat. That's actually not too bad, especially during the battle phase. Come on. That's just pretty nuts on its own, right there. Now for its monster effects. The first one reads if this card is in your hand, you can discard 1 other card, place this card and one Demon Valmonica from your deck in your pendulum zone. During the main phase, if this card was normal or special summoned this turn, you can banish 1 Valmonica's normal spell or trap from your grave. This effect becomes that card's life point gain effect when that card is activated. So this basically just ensures that they have more life points over your opponent, and you can just push for game. So really not much else to say about that. Speaking of Demon Valmonica, we talk about the aforementioned Demon Valmonica, 4-star Light Fiend with 1200 attack, 2100 defense, with its pen scale being 5. With 2 pendulum effects and 2 monster effects, I believe. Yeah. Okay. I thought so. So I believe both of the both the effects of the Valmonica pendulum monsters, the monster effects are exactly the same, but the pendulum effects are different. So, so Demon's pendulum effect says, while you have a fairy monster card in your other pendulum zone, each time you take effect damage, place 1 resonance counter on this card. Monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack for each resonance counter on cards you control. I mean, that's actually pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. The monster effect of this card anyway is different. During the main phase, if this card was normal or special summon this turn, you can banish 1 Valmonica normal spell trap from your grave. This effect becomes that card's damage inflicting effect when that card is activated. Basically, not only are you gaining life points, but you're dealing your opponent a fuck ton of damage, and there's really not much else to say about that. There really isn't. Honestly, I don't really know if there's gonna be any if I don't really know if there's gonna be any more support. Excuse me. As I'm trying to get the crust out of my eyes, I don't really know if there's gonna be any more support for this archetype in the future. Knowing Konami, I'm pretty sure there will be, but who knows? But anyway, next up we have Odd Deity of Valmonica, Gurloom, I believe that's how it's pronounced, which is a Dark Fairy Link 1 with 2500 attack, and the arrow is bottom left, and it requires 1 effect monster, and both of its effects are once per turn, and the effect and the top effect reads that it cannot be link summoned unless you have a fairy monster card with 3 or more resonance counters in your pendulum zone. You can only special summon this card once per turn. First effect reads reads, if this card is Link summoned, you can target monsters your opponent controls up to the number of resonance counters on cards in your Pendulum Zone. Destroy them. I mean, to be fair, this is sort of like a dark hole slash like Harpy's Feather Duster of sorts. So that's actually pretty nuts. Being able to put up to like, I'll say like 20 resonance counters on your cards, and to be able to just wipe the whole board clean and push for game. Come on, that right there is just nuts, absolutely nuts. The second effect reads, you can remove three resonance counters from cards in your Pendulum Zone. This card can make a second and third attack during each battle phase this turn. So this basically has an effect similar to Cyber Twin Dragon, where you can actually make a second attack, but in a way, it kind of reminds me of Chimera Tech Over Dragon, kind of like a much more better version of Chimera Tech Over Dragon, where you can actually make 4 attacks in a single battle phase each turn, which honestly is pretty nuts. But this one actually is pretty crazy because if you remove 3 exactly resonance counters, that's 3 attacks, 1 for each counter. I mean, that's just insane on its own. This card is probably going to be one of the best like combo extenders of the entire deck, and to be able to go battle phase, attack your opponent directly for 2,500, especially if they have no cards on board, and then main phase 2, link this card off into this next card that I'm going to talk about here in a second, and you're just off to the races from there. So this is kind of similar to the Sky Striker archetype, where it's mostly spells and traps for the most part. So that's pretty crazy. Excuse me. Next up, we have Divine Oddity of Valmonica, Zebufera. I'm probably butchering it, but it's a Light Fiend, Link 1, 2,500 attack, bottom right link arrow, and it requires 1 effect monster, and it says that it cannot be link summoned unless you have a Fiend monster card with 3 or more resonance counters in your Pendulum Zone. You can only special summon this card once per turn, and the first effect reads, if this card would be destroyed by battle card effect, you can remove 3 resonance counters from cards in your Pendulum Zone instead. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's a protection, and it helps basically go into it basically just helps protect your board from being destroyed by battle or card effect. So let's say, for example, this card actually it does say if this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect. So this card can basically just protect itself. So if it gets hit with a Raigeki or whatever, you can remove 3 counters off of like any cards that actually have counters, and this card would remain on board, but everything else would end up in the graveyard, which is pretty crazy. Second effect reads, once per opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can target one of your Valmonica normal spell or traps that is banished or in your grave. This effect becomes that card's effect when that card is activated. So this is basically similar to so it basically has the effect similar to the Pendulum Monsters, if you will. So that's actually pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. But now we move into these spells and traps, and I believe there's actually quite a few. There's 1, 2, 3. There are 3 spells. and 2 traps. So there are 5 more cards to talk about in this video. And the first one up, if I can try and get where I'm at. Here we go. Okay, finally. Sorry guys, my camera moved. Okay. Alright. Okay. Sorry guys, my camera moved. I had to try and keep it still. But anyway, the first of the spells and traps for this archetype, it is known as Angelic Demonic Selector Valmonica, which is actually the field spell. And the second effect is a once per turn. The first effect reads, when this card resolves, you can add 1 Valmonica monster from your deck to your hand. It's a Rhoda. It's a Rhoda. There's really nothing else I can say about it. It's a Rhoda. So terraforming could definitely be useful, but if you open with this card, if you open with this field spell, you basically have full combo, right? Just right then and there. So that's pretty cool. Second effect reads, if the third resonance counter is placed on a card in your pendulum zone, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase, but it cannot declare an attack. So this is really cool because this is a Rhoda slash brain control, and honestly, that's a pretty nasty effect. Pretty nasty card. Have a field spell that can do search and also snatch steal. I would say I know I said brain con, but more so of a snatch steal, I guess, if you will. But still, being able to just Rhoda out a monster to your hand from the deck and snatch steal one of your opponent's cards. Come on. I highly doubt that I highly doubt that you will ever find a much more powerful field spell than that. I doubt it. I honestly doubt it. Obviously, yes, the monster in question does get locked out of the battle phase, but honestly, it really doesn't matter because all you're doing is you're linking it off into a link to IP Masquerena, and then just link climb into a link for fucking fucking Unchained Abomination, and your end board would be both of those link monsters plus Unchained Abomination and what Appaloosa, or perhaps even Underworld Goddess, or maybe even a fucking Axico Talker. That's a pretty nasty board, if you ask me. Next up, we have Valmonica Versare, which is a normal spell, and the effect is a once per turn, which reads, apply one of these effects, your opponent's choice if you do not have a Valmonica card in your pendulum zone. Gain 500 life points, then you can excavate cards from the top of your deck until you excavate a Valmonica card, and if you do, add it to your hand and shuffle the rest back into the deck. Take 500 damage, then you can send 1 Valmonica card from your deck to your graveyard, except this card. Basically, it really doesn't matter which effect gets picked. Either way, you're gonna be doing a lot of milling and a lot of searching. There's really Again, guys, this is a brand new archetype, so I don't know much about it. This is all new to me. But the way I see it, it basically it really doesn't matter because you can either mill plus add to your hand, or just Foolish Burial cards to your graveyard and just combo off from there. So it really doesn't matter. Either way, you're going to be comboing off big time, which is crazy. But next up, we have Valmonica Intonaire, and it's a normal spell. And of course, you can apply one of these effects, your opponent's choice, if you don't have a Valmonica card in your Pendulum Zone. Gain 500, then your opponent chooses a monster in your grave that can be special summoned, if any, for you to special summon it. Take 500 damage, then you can add a level 4 monster from your grave to your hand. So, honestly, it really doesn't matter what happens. Again, it doesn't matter what happens. This card, it can either act as a monster reborn or a monster reincarnation, where as opposed to Versare, it can act as a reasoning or a foolish burial. So with these two cards right here, you've got, with these two cards plus the field spell, you've got probably like literally six of the most powerful cards in existence. You know, with the field spell, you have Rhoda plus Snatch Steal. That's one card. That's off of one card. With Versare, you have Reasoning plus Foolish Burial. That's 2 cards. The third card, which is in Tenaire, Monster Reborn or Monster Reincarnation. Again, 6 of the most powerful cards in existence during the days of like Go format and like fucking Reaper Monarch format. Come on. Really? I don't think I need to explain. But the traps, that's where it gets really, really interesting. Because the first of the 2 traps, we have Valmonica of the Guiding Rhythm, which obviously is a normal trap. Let's see. If you control a Valmonica monster card, apply one of these effects. Or if you control a Valmonica Link monster, you can apply both in sequence. Gain 500 life points, then destroy 1 spell trap on the field, take 500 damage, then you can return 1 monster on the field to the hand. So basically, this is MST Compulse. This is MST Compulse, which honestly is insane. Now, what does this next one do? Valmonica of the Selecting Melody. If you control a Valmonica monster card, apply one of these effects, or if you control a Valmonica Link monster, apply both. Let's see, gain 500. Also, your opponent cannot target Valmonica monster cards you control with card effects for the rest of the turn. Take 500 damage, then you can negate the effects of one effect monster your opponent controls until the end of the turn. Okay, so the gain 500 effect, I'm assuming it's kind of like a mini skill drain, I guess, if you will. But the take 500 damage, it's essentially an imperm, which honestly, imperm is still pretty nuts, even by today's standards of Yu-Gi-Oh! Not much else to say about that. But as far as the reprints go, we have Protecting Spirit, Logaeth. I have never seen that card before. I have never seen that card before. Hang on. Let me look it up on Nexus, because I've never seen that card before in my entire... I don't think I've ever seen that card before in my career as a content creator. So let's go on Nexus. Let's go deck. Pick a random one. And what was the name of the card? Protecting Spirit. I'll type in Protecting Spirit. Okay, Protecting Spirit, Logaeth. Let's see here. 7-star Light Fairy, 2400 attack, 2100 defense. If this card on the field is destroyed by battle card effect, you can target a monster on the field. Cannot be destroyed by battle this turn. Can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If an effect of a fairy monster control is activated, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can target one face-up card your opponent controls and one attack position monster you control. Banish that opponent's card and change your monster to defense. Okay, so this is sort of like a. So this is basically So this is basically sort of like a protection banishing effect. I mean it's okay. It's okay, but there could have been better reprints than this in my opinion. And then the other reprint is known as Glass of Light and Dark, which actually I've never seen that card before. Light glass, let's see. Stained Glass of Light and Dark, here we are. Apply any of the following effects in sequence, depending on the types of effect monsters you control. Fairy, you can draw 3 cards, then place 2 cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck in any order. Fiend, you can make your opponent draw 1 card, then discard 1 random card. Then if they still have a card in their hand, they discard 1 card. You can only activate this card once per turn. Okay. So this is sort of so if you have a fairy on board, it's sort of like it's basically similar. It's basically Graceful Charity, but instead of putting cards into your graveyard, you're putting them back into the deck. Now, if you have a Fiend on board, I guess in a way it's kind of similar to Dark World Dealings, but if they still have a card in their hand, then it's basically they draw 1 and they discard the rest, literally the rest of their hand, depending on how many cards they do have in their hand, which honestly, that's pretty nuts. I have to admit, that is absolutely insane. But guys, that's it. That will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more card discussions in the future, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and follow me on all of my social media. My ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.